Here's Steph Curry. As you can see, he's being guarded viciously the moment he passes half court. Sheesh, guys. This just proves how much the NBA is scared of him. Anyway, he uses the loony screen, gets by his initial defender, then when he gets double teamed, he fakes the pass back out to the perimeter. This gets Porzingis out of the way, then with a bit of footwork, he gets closer to the rim and does a soft push shot off the glass for the bucket. That was a sweet move, but what I wanted to show you was the fact that Steph is so good that all his components can do is complain, like this guy here. Look at what he says.
Steph a little leaner.
It looks pretty clear to me, but hey, when someone drops 41 on you and you can't stop them, sometimes yelling travel is your best defense, right? And with that being said, I just wanted to say it's happening, guys. I know the Warriors are hovering around 500, they're losing some games they should be winning, and they're turning the ball over a lot more than I'd like, but for all intents and purposes, the NBA's worst nightmare has come true. Steph Curry and the Warriors are officially back. The last thing any player wants, the last thing any organization wants, the last thing Adam Silver and the rest of the NBA executives want is for Golden State to go on another championship run and dominate the NBA again for the foreseeable future.
It still don't make no sense. It doesn't justify anything. And y'all won a lot of championship, but it was lame as.
See what I mean? People were downright angry, like little kids, because between them and the Larry O'Brien Trophy stood some of the best basketball players in NBA history. And on top of that, they were deep. So anyway, to begin this NBA season, the league must have been happy. I mean, key members of their 2022 championship rotations were poached away from other teams, key energy players coming off their bench were stolen as well, and heck, they even stole away Mike Brown. The Warriors suddenly became incomplete, and you could tell. I mean, to start off this year, they didn't look like champions at all. Charlotte, Detroit, Miami, Orlando, New Orleans, they should have been an easy 5-game sweep for the defending champions, but instead, it turned into 5 L's. Okay. I know there were 2 back-to-back games, and the Pelicans with Zion are one of the best teams in the league this year. So, alright, they should have won, 3 or 4 of those games at the very least. But to drop all 5 for a defending championship team? I wasn't too happy about it, but I bet the rest of the league was celebrating. The Phoenix Suns probably opened a bottle of champagne, and the Grizzlies, they were probably in the locker room chanting Grizzlies in 7, but in any case, the league was glad because it didn't matter if the Warriors had the best starting 5 in the entire NBA. Without a good supporting cast, they were toast. I mean, Steph can splash as many triples as he wants, Wiggins could dunk as much as he wants, Draymond can get as many assists as he wants, but if the bench was going to get outscored by like 20 every game, then in terms of winning or in terms of championship aspirations,
Forget about it.
If you think I'm kidding, I'm not. These are the box plus minus for the Warriors bench during October, November, and December. -6, -3, -1.9. The Warriors bench at the time probably couldn't even win a G League game, and what this meant for the rest of the Western Conference was we now have a path to the finals because the Warriors are finished. And then for the icing on the cake, Andrew Wiggins got injured and had to sit out games. Then, not long after that, the same thing happened to Curry. This, ladies and gentlemen, was probably what all 29 other teams in the league wanted, for the Warriors to lose. But in all honesty, this was the beginning of their nightmare. Because when the big guns went out, it gave Steve Kerr the opportunity to experiment, and the experiment worked. All those minutes that were going to Steph and Wiggins were suddenly dropped onto these men, and did they flourish or what? If you haven't really been watching Warriors games, let me fill you in real quick. And for this example, I'll use Andrew Lamb. So Andrew Lamb was an undrafted player, has jumped around to a few NBA teams, and honestly hasn't really been given a chance to succeed. But ever since Steve Kerr started giving him more minutes coming off the bench, look at what he's been doing. In the last 10 games, he's had 7 double-figure scoring games, and over the course of the season, he's averaging 51% from the field, 41% from three-point range. But more importantly, of every Warrior player who's played more than 10 games, he has the highest effective field goal percentage. He's no splash brother, he's no pool party either, but when the ball is in his hands, the man makes it count. Anyway, what I'm saying is that the Warriors bench has improved significantly. Remember earlier when I showed you those 3 box plus minus pictures with how the Warriors bench has been at the bottom of the league, getting constantly outscored? Well, here's the same statistics, but for the last 10 games. From the bottom of the league, the Warriors bench is now 3rd in the entire NBA when it comes to box plus minus. What this means is that the Warriors bench is now outscoring whoever's in front of them. And just like that, the NBA's worst nightmare has come true. I mean, the Warriors have the best starting 5 in the NBA, the statistics prove it. I'll use the top seed in both conferences to show you. As of today, the Celtics are on top of the East. Their starting 5, consisting of Brown, Horford, Smart, Tatum, and White, are at a plus 11.9. This means they routinely outscore opponents by a margin of 11.9 points whenever they're on the floor. Then, as for the Western Conference, the top seed right now belongs to the Denver Nuggets. Their starting 5, which consists of KCP, Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Murray, and MPJ, are a plus 15.2. Again, this means that this starting 5 unit routinely outscores opponents by a margin of 15.2 points. Now, let's look at the Warriors. Their starting 5, which consists of Curry, Green, Looney, Clay, and Wiggins, has been routinely outscoring opponents by 21.5 points per game. Sheesh, guys. Then after they come off the floor, the Warriors now also have one of the best benches in the league. In a best-of-7 series, how is any team going to beat a Warriors squad that has the best starting 5 and one of the best benches? I know some of y'all might be saying, but what about defense? And true enough, if you look at the statistics, the Warriors aren't an elite defensive team at the moment. According to Hollinger's statistics, they're right smack dab in the middle when it comes to this side of the floor. But the truth is, good offense beats good defense any day of the week. And the modern NBA has changed so much that even the best defenses can't keep up with an average offense these days. Some of y'all might be saying that I'm crazy, but you see, on January 3rd of 2023, the Celtics were at full strength. Tatum and Brown had a full day's rest from the night before, and they were up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, we all know the Celtics are one of the best defensive teams in the league currently. They have the length, they have the size, they have the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart, in the lineup. And they were going up against, according to Hollinger's stats, an average offensive team. And wait, that's not all of it either, because OKC that day was missing their star player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who averages 30 a night. And yet, you know what happened? The Boston Celtics had their rear ends handed to them as they were defeated 150 to 117. I'm not saying that I'd bet my money on OKC to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, but I'm just emphasizing the point that even the best defenses in the league can't keep up with modern offenses these days. And truthfully speaking, the Warriors have arguably the most potent offense in the NBA currently. With their starting 5 and their improved bench, they could literally shoot teams out of the building and sip on pina coladas in the fourth quarter. And the crazy thing is, the Warriors aren't even at full strength yet, because lurking behind the Warriors starting 5 and their improved bench are 2 of the most athletic monsters in the league right now. These 2 players have the capability to influence games on raw strength alone, and with half a season left to go, once Steve figures out how to best fit them into the rotation on a permanent basis, then
Forget about it! Forget about it!
Forget about it!